Hey guys, 420 Dragon here for another video. We're going to be this time doing a sideboard guide. So I'm going to look at some of the top decks here on MTG Goldfish, and we're just going to basically theorize about sideboarding and say what my conclusions are and how I end up actually sideboarding. So yeah, we're taking our classic FAMS list from the challenge, but -1 Bolt, +1 Flame Slash, and I actually ended up cutting Custody Squire for another Stoneworm. I don't think that Custody Squire is really needed. All the grindy matchups generally are really good. The only deck where I felt like it was actually like close to pulling its weight was against red-white variants. It's pretty good at blocking, of course, Skyfisher, so it could be revisited if that becomes a problem matchup. But right now, I think that's not that big of an issue. So let's go ahead and get these guys over here. And let's bring up our first deck. Our first deck, I guess, is Elves. Thing's not loading up. Here we go. So this is a weird deck. Mob Justice is actually really annoying. I think I played against this player in the challenge. What's their name? 5-1. Yeah, I did play against this player. Yeah, they were my one loss in the Swiss. So Mob Justice is actually pretty annoying. Typically, I don't think they run Mob Justice. Let's look at some other lists. Yeah, there's no Mob Justice here. There's no Mob Justice here. This guy's not even playing Distant Melody. There is a Mob Justice here. Okay, so maybe Mob Justice is kind of catching on. I don't like that. That's pretty good against our deck. Okay, Maverick Girl's not playing Mob Justice. What about this guy? He's not playing Mob Justice. He's got the longbow, which is basically about as bad as Mob Justice. So basically, if they have the longbow or the Mob Justice and they draw it, Elves can be a pretty bad matchup. Because basically, I mean, you can obviously go off for the kill with Prosperous Pirates, and I think that's kind of where you want to be at. But in general, they're gonna be faster than you, so you kind of have to like interact with them. Like if you can't really let a Timberwatch Elves get online, you'll just sort of die to that if that happens. So you have to basically kill Timberwatch at all costs. And then in terms of sideboarding, let's see, obviously Electrickery is a great card in that matchup. I think Stonehorn is also really good. Though basically Stonehorn's effectiveness is negatively impacted directly by however many copies of Bow and or Mob Justice they're running. Because those cards are able to basically allow them to ignore Stonehorn, but if they don't draw a copy of one of those cards, Stonehorn is absolute gas. If they are bringing in Longbow and you see a Longbow, I might even consider bringing in Gorilla Shaman. I think that the Longbow is extremely annoying, and it's a very easy way to lose a game against Elves. So especially when you're going deep on the Stonehorn plan, I might like either consider to bring in the Stonehorns alongside the Gorilla Shaman, or just leave the Stonehorns on the side and try to focus really hard on getting a combo kill, potentially with Compulsive, because the Elves is the matchup where they're gonna potentially be gaining a lot of life with their Well-Wishers. So you might, especially in game 1, you might have to go for a Compulsive kill, which can be tough, but we just released a video talking about speeding up your combo skills. So you watch that video, you give it a couple practice runs, compulsing someone out, and you could probably do it. Alright, so Electrickery is obviously busted. You can kind of go pretty hard on that with this deck. With Mnemonic Walls, Snaps, Ghostly Flickers, you can get a lot of spell recursion. So you can like play Electrickery 2-3 times in a turn. It's not that bad. So even a Spider Silk Armor doesn't really mess up your strat that much. It's kind of chill. So actually, maybe if we want to focus more on Elves, we should add another Electrickery. But I think I like Stoneworm better. I don't know, it's actually close. Maybe I will try a third Electricity. Yeah, why not I try that for next time? Elves does seem to be doing pretty well. I don't know if it's doing well, but it's getting played a lot. So yeah, I think that about covers the Elves matchup. Let's go ahead and talk about the next deck. Whoops. So just go ahead and click Pauper. Alright, Kuldotha Boros. I actually haven't played against too many of these decks recently. I feel like they've almost gone a little bit out of style since about 2-3 weeks ago. They were really just dominating. But anyways, there are a couple different versions of this. Of course, there's the typical version nowadays plays Palace Sentinels and Alchemist Vial, which I made. I made that version. But humble brags, I mean not so humble brags aside, I think that matchup is a little bit better than the Kuldotha version. Basically, Rally the Peasants can be really, really powerful against your strategy. Without a Rally the Peasants, there's not very much to be afraid of. So I actually like a lot that these top lists, these lists from a 6-1 challenge player, are cutting Rally. I think Rally is one of the best cards. They don't even have it in the sideboard. Yeah, this deck looks not very hard to beat with a Familiars deck, actually. Actually, the most annoying part is that they got all these burn spells to kill your fams, but that's not that bad. You can, value them out, or, catch them down on a turn, you know? So, yeah, this matchup, I actually really do like bringing in Hoodwink, because you can see they got all these Journey to Nowheres. A lot of the time, I think, actually, savvy red-white players might be boarding it out. That might be a real thing. Just because I don't think it's actually that good. What do you want to spend 2 mana to kill at sorcery speed? Sorcery speed, walks into Flicker, walks into... I mean, I guess Snap is not the worst, because, I mean, using Snap at... I don't know. Snap's a weird card, man. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, basically Journey. I think that card kind of sucks against our deck. But I do still think that bringing in Hoodwink is actually just awesome. The main purpose of Hoodwink is obviously to take out bounce lands. As much as I love the bounce land, which is a lot, I love the bounce lands. I love them. I hate it when someone touches my bounce land. So basically, the point of Hoodwink is that everybody else obviously also hates getting their bounce lands touched. You don't want your bounce land, your Boros Garrison, to come into play and then go back into your hand after it bounces another land. That's just horrible. So we try to get them, you know. And then also, these decks typically do play 8 artifact lands, so you can bring in the Shaman too. And that can be nice. You can get some free value, some free wins. And what else? I guess I actually haven't really played this matchup that much, honestly. You could bring in Electricity. I don't think I like Pyroblast. Yeah, they're bringing in Pyros. I think that's mostly fine. I don't know, maybe it is worth it, actually. I guess I would probably not think it's worth it. Yeah, Electricity sucks. Doesn't really do anything. Just kills Battle Screech. Right, they're not boarding in any, yeah. So, we could actually bring in Hydroblast. The thing is, in this matchup, your main deck, your main game plan is really solid. You don't actually want to cut that many cards. Maybe, I think you could actually even try to keep 1 or 2 Godfar's Faithfuls. Just because they do have to kind of be the beatdown in the matchup. You have the Inevitables, right? So I think you want a couple of these. They'll buy you a bunch of turns, but I don't think you want the full 4. Because I think you really, what's more important than gaining life and stuff is just making sure that, the time that you do have, you can use. Which basically means you want to keep packed and stacked with all your card draws. Stacked and packed, baby. So, let's see. This is an interesting matchup, man. Let's see. Seagate can be kind of nice to steal the monarch sometimes. Like, that can happen. It's not that hard to make it happen. Though it does get blocked by Thraben Inspector. Though it does block Thraben Inspector, but yeah, it doesn't block all that much. Maybe you can cut like 1 or 2 Seagates. Yeah, no, maybe you cut like 1 Seagate, 1 Flicker for like Gorilla Shaman Hoodwink. I like that. That's probably what I would do, honestly. I like minimal boarding. Both of your board cards here are pretty effective. Like, if you draw these cards in the first couple turns of the game and like your opponent either plays a bounce land or plays some artifact lands, you do have to get a little bit lucky in that regard, but the upside is there, man. Like, bouncing a bounce land, you're just gonna like be so far ahead, and killing some artifact lands, that's just awesome. That's just sweet, man. And they still have to answer the Gorilla Shaman too. Alright, so I think that about does it for Kuldotha Boros, or Boros Monarch. Tron. Interesting. So I'm just going to be thinking about the good versions of Tron. I don't think any version of Tron that plays, or that's like main game plan is based around Ulamog's Crusher is like anywhere near a viable deck. So this is like the big control-y Tron. This doesn't look like it's been doing very well. All these are not very great finishes. I guess this guy did pretty well. What is he playing? He playing Dinrovas? No, he's playing the Condescend. So a lot of people are playing this version of Tron. It looks like it's about, yeah, it looks like it's really mystical teachings based. So this matchup can actually be kind of annoying, basically because of Capsize. They have 2 copies of mystical teachings, 1 copy of Capsize, and a shit ton of card draw. So you're gonna have to be really careful. Like, playing bounce lands is a huge liability in this matchup. So if this matchup actually gets big and there's a lot of people playing basically cards that would interact with their bounce lands, I might go down to 6 bounce lands. Right now I'm currently playing 7 because I think that bounce lands are so good. And nobody's really out here punishing them yet. Like, really, this is the only like mainstream deck that can punish you, and a lot of the time people won't even be thinking about that. They'll be like, oh, I need a teachings and find some control-y card because I'm a control player, but they really could just like kill you on the spot. So yeah, if you're a Tron player and you're watching this video, mystical teachings for Capsize and win the game. Yeah, other than that, this matchup's pretty good if they don't like draw Capsize. Like, if they don't ever play Capsize, you're in a good spot. You're probably winning. Like, they have kill spells, but that's fine. Like, you grind super well. You can grind them out. Like, if you grind them out basically before they find Capsize, you're probably gonna win. You just win with some Mole Drifters. And like, even if they draw Capsize once you start like Mole Drifter beatdowning, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. You just keep turning them sideways. They can't really bounce your Mole Drifters, or else you just replay them and then their Capsize does nothing. So they have to start with your lands, and that gives you like basically a whole bunch of turns to just smack them in the face. So that's usually actually the way that I win this matchup. Is you actually kind of have to go beatdowns in this matchup. Like, they're gonna be spending removals on your FAMs early, and if they don't, you can maybe get a combo. Like that's obviously the nut scenario in any matchup, is just somebody ignoring your FAMs, and you're like, okay, yeah, let's go, buddy. But yeah, so then moving to the sideboard, I actually have kind of liked Hydroblast in this matchup. Let's see. Yeah, typically they're bringing in 3 to 4 copies of Pyro. And they have Rolling Thunder, which can be pretty annoying. I hate losing to Rolling Thunder. It's really annoying, man. And then also, you know, they have some random burns. So I think I actually do like Hydroblast here. You can actually, I feel like you can get pretty grindy. You don't really need these, and you probably don't actually need any of these removals. You can just either win with a compulsive kill, or, I mean, you just get infinity counterspells. That's enough. Who cares? And I actually don't think I really like Hoodwink against Tron, so I would probably just board like this. Just take out basically all of your cards for faster decks, and just become a slow interacty deck, and just grind them. So let's move on to the next deck. So what do we got here? Stompy. Stompy's an easy matchup. This matchup's really good. So basically, versus Stompy, you just want to basically set up the fatty blockers. You just want to like play this guy, play this guy, play this guy, and then just like block them a million times. So then basically what becomes important is that is cards that don't care about your blockers. So Skargan Pitskulk is the main card. That card is like the only card that matters versus Stompy basically. You just need to deal with Skargan Pitskulk on sight. You need to kill that. The what's it called? The Silhana Ledgewalker. That card's actually not as annoying as the Pitskulk. It costs 2 mana and it's smaller. The Pitskulk is way better than the Silhana Ledgewalker. Like even though you can target the Pitskulk and you can't target the other one, like they always have vines. You have to get through a couple copies of vines, and like in the time it takes you to get through those vines, the Pitskulk kills you while the Silhana Ledgewalker, you're just sitting there and you're chilling. Yeah, so Ledgewalker is not a big deal. Usually you're pretty happy to see him play a Ledgewalker. Like basically the thing is they play 2 Pitskulks in the time they play 1 Ledgewalker, right? So yeah, kill Pitskulk. Pitskulk's really annoying. But a lot of lists have been running like let's see, Elephant Guide. Yeah, geez, 4 Elephant Guide. Yeah, this is really bad against us because like Snap just completely blows up an Elephant Guide spot. Hunger the Howlpack too. Yeah, like all these cards get kind of wrecked by Snap. Rancor is fine against Snap. Vines is obviously Vines. It's fine. But yeah, so you can set up a lot of plays where like, you know, you just have a lot of cheap interaction with the Flame Slashes and Bolts. You can like bolt something, they vines it, and you like snap something else maybe. Like you snap their big guy. Yeah, and basically like once you set up a nice defense and you're blocking every turn, it's really hard for Stompy to get back in the game because they just have no card draw and you're just sitting there drawing Affinity cards. So that's dope. Stompy's a great matchup. But going on to the sideboard, you were like, damn, how does this matchup get better? Boom, Stonehorn. So this card is completely bonkers in this matchup. This is like one of the main matchups for it. You just like play this against Stompy and they die. I think, yeah, I don't think it's actually anywhere near common. I guess they play a couple longbows in the sideboard. That's actually kind of annoying. I think that if I were a Stompy player, like after with all my familiars knowledge, I would probably be bringing in the longbow because otherwise you just can't beat Stonehorn. But like longbow, I guess gives you a shot, you know. But then in terms of fighting against Affinity, I actually think I like Faithful too. It's nice to block. It's a little thick, dude. She is little and thick. So what do you cut here? I think you can probably cut like 1 Flicker, 1 Compulsive. I'd probably cut... Yeah, you could probably cut both the Pirates. You don't really need them, honestly. You can cut both the Pirates, add 2 Stonehorns, 2 Faithfuls. Like, you really don't need to make infinite mana. It's just kind of overkill in this matchup, and the Pirates sucks. It's just a shitty card. Like, unless you're like using it to kill people, it's just kind of bad. So you can just like play Stonehorn and just make it so they never attack and kill them with Muldrifter and Lightning Bolt. And yeah, that's that. That's pretty easy. It's not a hard matchup. And let's go to the next one. Affinity. Affinity's kind of close. This is like a close matchup. It's a close matchup. They win. Basically, the ways that they win, there's a couple ways they win. They either win by 4/4s or fling a Tog. So I like a lot that they're playing Teamer Battle Rage. That does, you do still die to that a lot of the time, but you know, it's more vulnerable to snap. So sometimes you can, you know, get that game-winning blowout. Though typically I actually won't put myself in the situation for that because I'll be playing around fling and snapping at main phase. I guess unless they have no, because if they're like tapped out and you like fucking don't snap it right away, they can just untap top deck fling and you just die. And I hate that, man. I'm trying to like not have that happen. I guess it actually depends on the situation. Depending on the situation, you might want to take the risky play of letting them potentially draw Teamer Battle Rage and play it, and then you can get the blowout. But if they got fling, it's not a good time. Or they beat you down with big 4/4s. Affinity plays a lot of 4/4s. 4/4 is basically the power point where all your cards suck. Like, all your cards are shit at blocking 4/4s. Godpharaoh's Faithful doesn't block it. Mnemonic Wall doesn't block it. Seagate doesn't block it. Muldrifter doesn't block it. Prosperous Pirates doesn't block it. It's really bad. Like, 4/4s are really good against this deck. So, like cheap 4/4s, because if it gets snapped, then it's horrible. Then it's horrible, and it's like bad. Like, Grimmack Angler sucks. But, like, you can't snap a Mirror Enforcer. Like, snapping Carapace Forger is not that good. So, Affinity is, like, kind of a tough matchup in that regard. But you do have power. You do have the power there. Like, you can snap their bigger stuff. You can snap Atogs. If they ever stumble, you're really good at punishing that. Like, you can just fucking start drawing cards, make a bunch of blockers. And then, like, once you get a Flicker Lock online, it's really hard for them to stop. Like, even if they have Galvanic Blast or whatever, it's not that hard to play around it. You can just, like, chill, hang out, make, like, a weird block or whatever, double block maybe, force out the Galvanic Blast, and then just cast Flicker and GG them. Yeah, Metallic Rebuke. This card's actually kind of scary out of Affinity. I think it's actually pretty good in the matchup. I've definitely gotten got by that a couple times. But anyway, so of course, post sideboard, we're going to bring in Gorilla Shaman. Pyroblast is mostly for this matchup. And I actually have been liking a couple of Pyroblasts. Let's see, they only have the 4 burn spells and the Flang. Yeah, I might be underrating Stonehorn in this matchup. Maybe I should be using Stonehorn. I've been using Pyroblast because it's a nice answer to Metallic Rebuke and Thoughtcast, and I don't really want to bring in more than 5 cards, to be clear. I think Hydroblast is uncuttable. Hydroblast and Gorilla Shaman are uncuttable. You need Hydro to deal with Atog and stuff. That's so annoying. I hate that. I might be overrating it, actually. Maybe that's just wrong. Yeah, maybe you don't need that. It's so good. I hate Atog. But, yeah, so Pyro can counter Thoughtcast, Metallic Rebukes. Countering Thoughtcast is pretty nice. Killing Gearseeker Serpent's also really nice. But Stonehorn can actually just blank a lot of their decks. So maybe, let's see, post Stonehorn, what do I do? Maybe I bring, like... Because what do I usually cut versus Affinity? You can probably cut the Bolt. Bolt kind of sucks. It doesn't kill their good stuff. You can probably cut, like, Bolt... like Seagate. Maybe you don't want to cut Flicker actually, and you just want to try and combo them. Kind of down. Where's my composer? Here. I guess you can probably cut a land actually. We have 22 lands. Let's see. We're bringing in white cards mostly. So we could probably cut the Tranquil Cove. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's tough cutting cards from this deck and sideboarding. Yeah, you probably cut like a Flicker and a Pirates, and this is 5 cards. And then you can bring in like probably one. Yeah, maybe you actually don't need. Like, maybe you just go, like, double Stonehorn, 1 Pyro, 1 Hydro, Gorilla Shaman. Kind of split the difference with the Pyro and Hydro, because I'm not... Like, I kind of unsold myself on Hydroblast, honestly. And Pyroblast is pretty sweet. I guess. What are they bringing in? Dispel, maybe? Dispel's not great against us. That's fine. I don't really give a shit about Dispel. Actually, it's kind of annoying out of Affinity, to be honest. But it's fine. Like, you resolve Muldrifters, that's... You're chilling, dude. I think that's fine. I don't think this matters that much. The Dispels. So I think that's what I would do versus Affinity. Obviously, Flame Slash is like the holy grail in that matchup. Like, basically, if you draw 3 Flame Slashes, you're probably gonna be super favored versus Affinity. But otherwise, it's gonna be pretty close. It's gonna be pretty fucking close. So strap your seatbelt. Alright, so what's next? Burn. It's pretty straightforward. They try to burn you out, you try to not die. Obviously, Faithful is insane. Obviously, Hydroblast is insane. Removal is actually pretty good against burn, so the sideboarding is actually kind of interesting in that regard. You could probably, yeah, you could probably just cut Prosperous Pirates. You don't really need it. You can just cut the Pirates. How good is Flicker? Yeah, you probably can cut like one Flicker. I like Compulsive here, because you want to draw your Hydroblast and your Godfair's Faithfuls. You don't really want to cut too much engine. And yeah, actually maybe you just cut a land too. Yeah, I like that. You can just cut like, I guess you cut it like a Boilerworks. Yeah. Sometimes they even bring in Molten Rains too. So it kind of plays around that a little bit. Just cut like these 4, bring in, yeah, 2 Hydro, 2 Faithful. That seems good. Next deck, Delver. Alright. So there's a couple ways you could go versus Delver. I do like Electrickery. I probably won't bring in more than 2 copies. I think 1 or 2 copies is probably where you want to be. And Faithful, I think I actually do like 2 copies of Faithful. I've tried cutting it in the past, but I don't think that's actually too effective. So I definitely probably want these 6 cards. 4 Pyroblast is obviously basically the reason to be playing blue or red familiars as opposed to like Esper or something. So let's see. Let's look at these new mono blue Delver decks. This is just like a classic one. Let's see what did I play against last week. There's 2 ninjas, 4 augurs, 4 spell starters. That's weird that they're going to 2 ninjas in 3 days. Wow, that's nuts. I didn't know they're playing 3 days, man. That's crazy. I'm not sure how good that is against us. I think it's kind of bad, honestly. It's pretty good in the early game, I guess. But what? This deck has no ninjas. Interesting. That's weird. I'm not used to it, but I mean, I was reading Kung Fu Tree's thoughts on the matter, and I don't know. It was kind of convincing. But still, man, and he's running 4 Vapor Snags. Wow. I guess actually no, that's typical. They usually run 4 Vapor Snags or Snaps, or like a combination. Yeah, wow, it's crazy. So Daze. It's interesting. I think Daze is fine. I think you can still. I think actually we're probably still favored, honestly. Let's see. What does this mean? What does this mean? They're less reliant on Ninja. I mean, on Spell Stutter now that Ninja's gone. So now it's really just about not getting overrun by like a quantity of creatures, keeping the Delvers under control, and most importantly, you have to kill Spire Golem. Spire Golem is another one of the reasons that we switched to 3 Flame Slash as opposed to 2 Flame Slash, 2 Bolt. Because it's really hard to deal with out of this deck. It basically negates Mole Drifter. You need 2 Mole Drifters to do anything, which is like, that's not easy to assemble. Snap doesn't really work on it because it has Affinity. It costs 0 in the late game. So yeah, so that's like another one of the thing that harkens back to what I was saying earlier. Cheap X4s that are annoying you are pretty annoying. So yeah. So in terms of sideboarding, I think we want these 5 or 6 cards. I think you can actually cut the Bolt. Like, yeah, it kills Spell Stutter, but that's fine. You have Electrickery to do that. And I think you just really want to Flame Slash the shit out of Spire Golem. Actually, nah. Maybe you should keep good Bolt. Keep good old Bolt. You could probably cut both the Pirates. Pirates sucks in this matchup. You just play Mole Drifter and they die. That's how you win. Like, you play enough Mole Drifters and Delver dies. That's just how it works. Do they play any Graveyard 8? Graveyard 8 kind of sucks against this deck, but it's still something to account for. Yeah, you could probably cut a Flicker. Yeah, I like this. This is 4 cards. Yeah, they don't have any ninjas, so Seagate gets a lot less important now. You could probably cut these 6 cards for like, yeah, like 2 Electrickeries. 2 Electrickeries seems good. I would probably cut, yeah, Pirates, Wall, Flicker, Seagate for Tricky, and 4 Pyros. Seems good. Keep 2 Faithfuls. Faithful can actually buy you quite a bit of time in the matchup. Like, if you just drop one early, it can't get spell started, obviously, but, I mean, you know, everything that's good gets spell started. Like, you're bringing in fucking 6 spell starter targets. So it's not like you're trying to play around spell starter. You're trying to, like, fucking, like, be like, yo, I have, like, fucking 20 spell starter targets. What's good? But, yeah, I think that's the Delver matchup. It is a really tricky matchup. There's a lot of play from both sides. It's really difficult. It's honestly really fun. It's a great matchup. Izzet Delver. This is actually a little bit different probably than Mono Blue. I feel like this one typically maxes out with ninjas. I don't think that blue-red cuts too many ninjas. So yeah, it's definitely a similar matchup. It's a little bit different though. How do things change? Pirate still sucks. You could probably cut Mnemonic Wall Flicker. Yeah, you could actually just probably cut the same exact cards, honestly. Maybe actually, no. This should be good. Should be fine. Maybe you could cut like... Snap is so good. I don't want to cut Snap, man. Yeah, I don't want to cut Snap. I like cutting Seagate. I mean, maybe you do actually cut like 1 Snap. Yeah, that's probably good. Cut 2 Pirates, 1 Wall, 1 Flicker, 1 Seagate, 1 Snap versus blue-red. I think Seagate's a little bit more value now that they have ninjas. And Snap's not very good against Ninja. Like, it's better against Spire Golem than it is against Ninja. And obviously you can just use it on your own stuff. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I don't really like Hydro in this matchup. You just grind through the opponent's Pyros. So let's go to the next matchup. Blue-black. Okay, blue-black's a joke. Doesn't matter what you do, you win. But, memes aside, you can probably cut the Faithfuls. These decks don't play very many creatures, right? They just play like Ermac, Angler. Yeah, you can probably cut a lot of removal too. You can probably cut like all your removal actually. Maybe you just cut all your removal on one of the Faithfuls. No, you don't even need... Yeah, dude, you should keep the Faithfuls for... These decks still play 4 Chainers, right? 3 Chainers? Yeah, that's enough, dude. Fuck this guy. Yeah. Yeah, you just take out 4 removal spells, put in 4 Pyros. I mean, I'm assuming that this guy's list is like representative of a larger population of lists that play 3 Chainers Edict. Yeah, this guy's on 3 Chainers Edict. No good creatures. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get these blue-black decks. They're like mid-range decks. Like, that's not a thing, dude. I play Muldrifter and you die. But yeah, basically against these blue-black decks, I think you're like just extremely advantaged from the start. You can basically just like all your value cards are so good. Like what? You're both grindy decks, and they're playing 4 bounce. They're playing 3 bounce lands. What? That's ridiculous, dude. Man, they should be playing 4 bounce lands easy. But okay, so they're playing 3 bounce lands, and you're playing 7. So who gets more value? Yeah, so that's that, man. I mean, Nile Spellbomb, the card sucks, dude. Who cares? Like, basically, to play around Graveyard Hit with this deck, it's really not that hard. Basically, like, for all the time that Nile Spellbomb is in play, this is the way that I think about it. That's a card that they spent on Nile Spellbomb. So basically, you just leave it in play forever, play a grindy game around it, and then eventually they just have to crack it because they're out of cards. And then it doesn't do anything. And then you win. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Nile and Relic. And even if they do save it forever and like never run out of cards, then you can just like wait till you have a hand that's like, you know, flicker, mnemonic wall. Or if they have 2 relics, you can get flicker, flicker, mnemonic wall. Then you just play mnemonic wall. Or like have a flicker in your yard too. Or I guess have like a flicker in your hand. I don't know. There's a bunch of different scenarios. But like if you have a flicker in the yard and you play mnemonic wall, they have to crack the relic, right? So then you can just like if you have another flicker, then you can just kill them. Yeah, basically that's how you beat relic, I guess. You just try to. I mean, you can also just beat down with Muldrifter. Like you really, it just doesn't matter. You can just play Muldrifter and kill them. Yeah, that's my thoughts on relic. Like if you're in a position to combo, you're gonna win the game a lot of the time anyway. I mean, I guess like sometimes against like quick decks, it's not the case. Bogles. Alright, Bogles is cool. This is a fun matchup. So yeah, for this matchup, this is like basically the best Stonehorn matchup. They have nothing to get around Stonehorn, so you should try to play Stonehorn, kill them. We actually have a bunch of cards to board in. I like Electricity and Hoodwink versus them. You just want a bunch of ways to interact. You can definitely cut all these removals. You could probably cut the 2 Faithfuls. You can maybe even cut the Pirates, actually. A way to kill them is nice, but I don't think it's actually necessary. Yeah, you just Stonehorn them and play Muldrifters. That works. Yeah, you don't really need a. You can board out Bolt and Pirates if you want, and keep the Faithfuls. But if you want to have a kill, you can like keep in the Bolt or keep in Compulsive and Pirates. Just compulsive them out. But I really don't think you need to. You can just bring in Stonehorn. Yeah, I think I would probably cut like Pirates and then all the removals for Stonehorns and all this stuff. It's good. Seems good. But yeah, basically the way that matchup works is you want to have them not have trample. If they don't have trample, then you can chump block the guy and it's easy. But once they do get trample, that's when the real clock starts. Because then you can't chump forever. You have to like actually die at some point. So then you really need to like get to your combo. So game 1, that's gonna be a lot harder since your combo is like Pirates and Compulsive them out. But games 2 and 3, all you have to do is find Stonehorn and you win. So that's why I feel a little bit more comfortable boarding out Pirates in those matchups, because you just draw Stonehorn and you win. And it's kind of a similar thing to like versus Delver. You don't really need it because it's really clunky and bad, and like they can't really beat too many Muldrifters. So you just play a couple Muldrifters and they die. It's like sort of a similar thing, except you play literally one Stonehorn and they die. So Izzet Blitz and Inside Out? I guess we'll think about Blitz first. Blitz is obviously, it's historically the worst matchup for this style of deck, so I wasn't feeling too hot about the Blitz matchup when I first played it. But it's actually, I think with this deck, it's actually a lot better than it has been with like Esper Familiars, for example. It has a horrible Blitz matchup. But like Flame Slash and Lightning Bolt do a lot of work. Snap does some solid work. And then of course the sideboard is like a godsend. You just bring in 2 Hydros, fucking 4 Pyros, just kill everything. This is basically the matchup where you probably want to interact the most out of any matchup. Like all you're trying to do is kill their stuff. You can like cut like a Flicker. Yeah, you don't need the combo in this matchup. You can like cut you can even cut a Seagate. I would probably cut this. Life gain doesn't matter. Like sometimes you win a game 1 by just gaining like 100 life or whatever. I mean not 100, but like 20 life. They just can't really kill you. But I think post board, all you really want to do is just play like Pyros, Hydros, Bolts, and Flame Slash. That just seems awesome. That's just how you win. Versus that deck at least. Inside Out is a lot harder. It's a lot more difficult. I think it's actually less popular, but it's still pretty difficult. I'm not sure if I've actually played that matchup with the new version. So I'm not really sure how that matchup plays out. Like, I don't think I've ever pyroed against a tribe deck, so I'm not really sure. This is mostly speculation because I don't really know. I've never played the matchup. This deck's still pretty new to me. We just came up with it a couple weeks ago, me and Ray. Big shouts out to Ray, dude. That's a homie. Oh, subscriber, sick. Shouts out Alessio Gajoni, the mans, dude. Fucking. So what's good? What were we thinking about? Tribe? Oh lord, I hate playing as Tribe. Tribe is like fucking Izzet Blitz on crack, man. It's like the new Izzet Blitz. Like that's like it feels like a hard matchup. You probably don't need these Faithfuls because they go nuts, man. They just kill you really quick. You probably want all these pyros. You need to kill their shit. And pyro their shit. What else do you need? Is Stonehorn playable in this matchup? Like maybe you just bring in Stonehorn. I'm really not sure. I hate Tribe, man. Yeah, so what if you brought in Stonehorn? It's probably too slow, actually. Especially if you're on the draw. Maybe on the play you can bring it in. Dead doubt on the draw. I guess the removal is actually pretty bad. Lightning Bolt is fine, but Flame Slash sucks. So you can board out these 5. Get these pyros in there. Maybe you should throw a Stonehorn. I mean, Electricity will stop them from comboing. So you could sort of use it as a last line of defense. I'm not really satisfied with that. It might just be the play. Could try Stonehorn. Yeah, I think it's between Electricity or Stonehorn, and I think cutting these 5 cards is correct. And these 5 cards alone, I think you could like cut a Flicker maybe. Then actually the most annoying part about Inside Out is that fucking Inside Out just kills Sunscape Familiar and draws a card. Like what? If it wasn't already bad enough matchup, why do they get to kill my familiars for free, man? It's fucked up. It's just difficult because like on the basically Electricity only works on the turn that combo you out, right? And on that turn, that's also when all your Pyroblasts only work. So, like, how much red mana are you gonna have, man? It's not that many. So maybe you do actually just bring in Stonehorn. Stonehorn is a way to win. Doesn't cost red. It's probably pretty hard for them to beat a Stonehorn once it gets going. Yeah. Yeah, you probably bring in Stonehorn. Alright, I think... Yeah, I don't know what these decks are. Alright. I think those are all the decks that we're going to look at today. Let me know how you guys enjoyed this video, and good luck to you guys playing Familiars.